leaving cop work for a business that you started, at some point you have to make.
Mike is so dedicated to Instagram that he's
on the phone.
On the phone.
I'm going to answer
Instagram.
I'm going to.
No.
I mean, I haven't had any word edgewise in this conversation. I got 3 topics.
You kicked it off with your fitness routine.
For the story, it's Instagram that you're talking to for the podcast.
I can show you.
Okay.
Anyways, you're always going to. At some point, you are going to have to make the jump if you want your businesses to survive. What's up, everybody? So I just want to give a quick shout out to Ghostbed, one of the OG first-time sponsors of the Anti-Hero podcast back in the day. They've been with us since day one because they have the widest variety of beds and bedding for the lowest price. I would suggest checking out their patented cooling sheets. They keep you cool on summer nights, especially people that live in hot-ass states like we do in Florida. I speak with the VP on a regular basis. He's become a good friend of mine. We stand by and guarantee ghost bed. So if you're going to replace a mattress in the house, or you're going to redo the sheets because your kids peed on them or your mother-in-law peed in it, whatever it is, go to ghostbed.com/culture and save 10% off the already ridiculously low prices. Are you rewatching that over and over?
No, I keep fucking. I'm sharing it. It's not loading. I'm sharing it on my shit.
You on Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it's going. I got it. Hey, did I tell you guys that
The camera's recording?
Jimmy Watson said you're big?
Yeah.
That was exciting, right?
I have nothing else to say the rest of the episode.
I'm cutting.
I heard
you guys
he
could
looked
talk.
right at you and he said, "Yeah, bro, you've been doing something good. You've been doing something."
Yeah, yeah. And
You've been cutting, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's all. I started before the cruise with the treadmill, and for anybody that's doing the treadmill, if you have an arc trainer in your gym, I suggest you up it on the arc trainer. You'll burn more calories faster, and it's actually a leg workout, and it starts to grow the legs.
Legs are getting there.
So I was wasting like 30 minutes on the treadmill, getting like 300 calories, and I could knock out like 400 calories in like 18 to 20 minutes on the arc. So
you're doing like calorie counting with your actual.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a certain amount of calories a day on cardio, and then I just added lifting back actually 3 days ago. I went a whole month without lifting, just cardio, getting at it, getting the lungs up, and then.
So that's what I'm trying to pay attention to, my heart rate in recovery. So like heart rate up and then recover down, and how fast I can recover and then get it back up.
Like HIIT training?
Yeah, HIIT training, like a yo-yo. Like
we talked about, that guy you asked me the other day, that guy says 10-3-30, 10 incline, 3 miles an hour for 30 minutes. I'm just blowing that out of the water, where if you just do that basic, you're going to burn fat, and I do it on an empty stomach. I get to the gym, but now I've figured out if I'm walking uphill, now I'm basically climbing up a hill on this arc trainer. It feels like I'm going up steps, but I don't like the Stairmaster because it's kind of, I don't dig it.
Doing it on the incline is great.
Yeah, so that arc trainer really hits it, and it's been good for like cutting, and I can eat. Like I like how much I'm eating. I'm really not dieting. I'm just like eating smart. But I'm
You're like more calories out than in. You're like scientifically going to lose weight.
I ate a sub. Hold on now.
Just out of curiosity.
But I had
curious, you were gone for like a half hour.
Protein shake for breakfast, worked out, yogurt and granola like I always do right after, and then I had some roller dogs on the way here with a protein shake. Dogs. Nothing bad.
Eat roller dogs.
What do you mean nothing bad?
Nothing bad.
Nothing bad. Not you could say not the most perfect meal, but
that's an on the go meal. That's better than like
roller dogs. I don't think 7-Eleven pays for prime.
No, it wasn't 7-Eleven. It was
beef.
Racetrack. They're top shelf.
Top shelf.
But
they've only been rolling for 3 hours.
On a travel day, that's like a shitty meal, but I still don't pick out on pizza or bread.
That's true.
I did save it for there, but that sandwich is pretty small, and the bread is homemade, so it's not like massive amount of bread. And I factor that into my day. So on a normal day, though.
So what we were talking about, so we filmed with Jimmy and Taylor. We filmed an episode of Other Than Audible, and we were explaining to them because they didn't understand. Like, they were like, do cops support you guys? And I was like, yes, but not to a degree that they really, truly support soft people, being special forces type guys. And I was explaining to them that, cops don't really listen to other cop podcasts. That's why when you're like, we always pick on the ones, we make fun of them a little bit, like where they're like, tell me about your best cop stories all the time. Cops, cops, cops. And it's like, we tell people advice is find a niche. It can't be that. And, he was like, but cops don't like, and I'm like, no, they look for inspiration in mental status, training, motivation. And I was like, cops and special forces dudes are two types of different dudes. Like one's not any better than the other one as a man, but Jimmy wakes up and does like 1,000 burpees in his hotel room before he comes here.
And
it's non-negotiable. It films it. Yeah, non-negotiable. It's it's the type of person that and cops don't do that. I'm sure there's a cop out there that does 1,000 burpees before his shift, but and I'm
rare.
not sure.
It's
and
rare. Yeah,
and so
I found myself the other day. I was interviewing a canine handler, and it's just hard for me because I'm not going to geek out about a canine handler. Yeah. I'm being a cop because I'm like I work with you guys. I know you guys are cool. I know you guys do some fun stuff, but I'm not geeking out. So like I let them work with a couple like stories and stuff, and I'm cool, and I know the questions to ask about those stories. Yeah. But like my thing is now your entrepreneurship, your side business, what's your hustle as well. Like, let's talk about these things. So those are those things that can kind of excite cops. Like,
yes.
How do you maintain being a cop and running on high levels and stuff like we want everybody to, but then also now you've got a side business, a side hustle that's also taking off. And then, we're kind of almost telling like our stories where like your side hustle starts taking off further than the cop life. And it's like, all right, is this, which is more important, and so then you have that conversation.
It's always going to be a risk. I can tell you right now from experience, you can turn it into a legitimate business, but there's always risk. There's business partners, there's the economy, there's crazy shit like COVID and when COVID hit, businesses were pretty much shutting down. People were losing their life savings over their business, and cops were getting paid more. Yeah. Because overtime details, I remember they were offering us overtime gigs for when they were laying off employees. They wanted us on standby. We were making more money.
Yeah, more money. And then DeSantis is giving us bonus checks for being cops.
And so
during all this, and it's like we're getting bonus checks for doing a job that that you're allowing us to keep doing when everybody else is getting.
And like COVID, leaving your business leaving cop work for a business that you started. At some point,
just
you have to make.
Mike is so dedicated to Instagram that he's
on the phone.
On the phone, I'm
going to answer
Instagram.
I'm going to. No. I mean, I haven't had any word edgewise in this conversation. I got 3 topics.
You kicked it off with your fitness routine.
For the story, it's Instagram that you're talking to for the podcast.
I can show you.
Okay.
Anyways, you're always going to. At some point, you are going to have to make the jump if you want your businesses to survive. Yeah. A lot of guys won't, and they think, "Well, I'll just do both." You can't. Half-ass, what is it? Can't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing.
I've never heard it, but it makes sense.
It's Ron Swanson.
Oh, okay.
And so they don't, they're like, oh, it sounds great on paper. I'm going to retire and then kill it. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, if you try to now kickstart a business at the age of retirement, you're already set up to fail. You're on the back end of life. Mm-hmm. You're out of touch with social media. You're out of touch with the industry. You're out of touch with everything.
I like that topic.
Yeah.
My take on like what you guys are saying, to go back to the podcasting stuff, and I feel it for you. Obviously, we're different, but
he's
cops
better.
Still working. No, cops still working have a lot to worry about. What you say.
Right.
And so my career, obviously, I know we're all different personalities. My career was spent with a lot of guys where we were just like, fuck this job. I'm quitting tomorrow. I'm so sick of this admin. We were getting in trouble. We were doing wild shit. So I kind of resonate to those type of guys that have that same mentality. Like, we're out doing all this shit, and then they want to bag me for my car's over a fucking 100 miles of my oil change. Yeah. Stuff that you're supposed to do, but kind of when you're busy, you don't get to it. Yeah. So when I go off the rails or go wild in my podcast, that I can say that you guys can't.
Yeah.
I get it. But that's kind of the audiences that I think I bring in, is they feel the same way. Like, fuck this place, fuck that, but they can't say it. So there's like, they hear it. But so there's a place for all of it.
Yeah, it's a place for them to like be relating
hear
to something.
It from somebody who they know did the job. It's not like I'm over there like, hey, I fucking work. I don't want to say it, like work traffic or something. Like I did a lot of work. And then
You say so condescending.
Polish your boots, bro. Polish your boots.
And then as the business side of it, I think you're right, as a cop, if you're not preparing your business, but at some point, like if you start a successful business, the cop thing is going to get in the way of your future success. You're going to have to come to a point where you go, hey, this 10 years was awesome, or this 8 years was awesome. I really love this job, but I got to move on. It's kind of like a guy I know that was like, he's trying to protect his SWAT team, and they're screwing it from the top. And the command staff said, there's no SWAT guy above this rank. Like, there's nobody there to keep the filter. One of you is going to have to get promoted, give up the team, and now go be a higher ranking person to be the keeper of the SWAT. You're going to take a huge pay cut because you're not going to have the SWAT call out pay and all the overtime.
Right.
But you're going to have to, and no longer be a SWAT guy. You're done. You turn in your stuff. And I remember a guy, Lonnie Rich, that's one of my best friends and one of the guys I looked up to throughout my whole career. He made that decision at one point. I remember it was the day I came back from suspension off TikTok. I got back on the SWAT team, walked up to the range, day one. He walks up and he says, they're moving me to captain and I have to give up the team. And it was like this is like the assassin. This is the dude. This is SWAT. When you think of SWAT, you think of this guy. And it was like, you're looking at him like, no fucking way. But he took it for the team. He goes, I got to get in between the administration and the team, give up what I love to make sure this thing rolls the same way. And it's kind of like business. At some point, you're going to have to make the decision in business. Yeah. Like, I can't come out as Copville while I still work there with all the shit I'm posting.
Well, and
a successful business.
We always talk about, and man, I'm going to say this. You're an anomaly. You are, and I'm not trying, you are very young spirited.
Yes.
So when I say someone, like you're about to retire soon, legitimately
120 days, as Mike reminded me.
Is it exactly?
Yeah, 120 days.
20-year career. I would have guessed you're an 8-year cop and you're 35 years old.
Yeah.
Just based off of you wear backwards hats.
Yeah,
you know?
backwards hat guy. Yeah, I can't be over 40 and wear a backwards hat, which I'm not even wearing.
And he never seems upset or like rattled, which again would lead me to think a younger cop that hasn't been through fucking hell and back.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been blessed with my career a bit. I was in the schools, which has its own.
But you've had the big green weenie give it to you from time to time. Everybody's subjected to it.
Around. Like where you're talking about part of like, taking off on a business and if my podcast is a business, I mean, I guess in a business you have to make some money and I haven't done that yet, but I'm still having a good time and it's exciting to me, but it's a lot of hard work as we see we're up here taking vacation to go do podcasting and stuff like that, do a job and work. But I've been so close to the end when I got into that like 2 years left that it's like, dude, I can't say fuck this place.
Of course not.
I can't really get on a podcast and say fuck this place. No. I have to mind my P's and Q's, and my wife is like watched some of these lives and stuff like that, and she's like, you're very reserved, and I'm like, you have to be. And I've said it before on other ones, I come from the PIO world as well, so I also know how to protect the agency when you're talking to the news or whatever. So to me in this situation, you guys might be the news.
He's like, I know more than you. I know more than the agency.
And I'm zip. So but so I've got that, and you guys know me. I'm probably not going to really change in 121 days.
Dude, can you imagine if you just had a big face tattoo?
It's fucking, come back from Germany at the end of the month. And fucking, it's like, it's fine. Things, but and that's just.
But you're surprising. He's very surprising because I remember when I said on the live when I got duped into saying.
That's something.
Trees like
knee grow.
Your knee grow, and I got somebody in the what do they do on the anti-hero squadcast is they try to make us say things when we read them, and you're like, oh, they got me.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it was so funny, and we were all in it, and I made it. I remember I was getting my back tattoo worked on, and I was like, and I sent it to my wife, Heather, and I was like, what do you think? I was like, this is risque. But I was still a cop. At that point, I didn't care. And she goes, well, might want to make sure Justin's okay with it. And so I go, okay. And I sent it to him, and he goes, dude, add this too. And I was like, damn, like, all right.
Make it even better. You can make it even better.
It's tough. I mean, I was just saying, I ranted on the way here about a reel or a meme, but my wife has even said, like, bro, you've been gone a year. Like, let it loose. And you're so conditioned to have 3 years military, 23 years a cop. You're so conditioned to be so careful on every single call. Because, in our world, we slip up with one word can end your career. One thing you say wrong.
Especially nowadays with body cameras and AI watching our
regardless
body
if it's an
cams.
accident. Even if you watch reels where a guy says something not even close and it sounds bad. And they're like, what did he say? So it's like I'm so conditioned to not like get riled up that it, I do it with you guys when we're, off camera, but I guess in the camera's rolling, I always think, well, but she's like, bro, you have nobody to answer to, like, send it. So it's like, I'm trying to get into that send it role more, even as outspoken as I am, but it's just tough.
You also, as a public figure and as a persona and a business that gets carried by it, you also have to monitor the cancel culture.
Over a century ago in 1910, the Flexner Report, funded by John D. Rockefeller and the Carnegie Foundation, re-engineered medical education from a holistic, whole-body approach, which appropriately treated the body as an interconnected system, to a compartmentalized approach under the guise of specialized medicine. They shut down or consolidated medical schools, marginalized naturopathic, homeopathic, and chiropractic medicine, replacing them with symptom management and synthetic drugs. Allopathy is a marketing strategy rooted in fear and manipulated science. This philosophy carried into veterinary medicine, resulting in over-vaccination, unnecessary surgeries, and manufactured food, just like they did for people. They call it care, but it's predatory and based in profitability. The truth? Toxicity, compromised immunity, and chronic inflammation. They're not fate. They're engineered. And so is your power to undo them. We built 3 targeted formulas to return the body to homeostasis, for pets and people, to detox, defend, and restore. We are the correction to decades of corruption. We are vengeance.
What's up, everybody? As you guys know, we teamed up with Tasty Gains, Counterculture. The entire network has teamed up with them. They're a big supporter of ours, but we're a big advocate of them. We're here on the road. You can have these creatine gummies. You don't have to pack the creatine powder and everything. You can eat a gummy, go out, fruit snack, and you can. One gummy is 1 gram. You can have up to 5 a day. Look, another one. You can have them whenever you want, and they're fucking delicious.
Same thing with their pre-workout, the Tasty Gains pre-workout. Simple. It's in a gummy as well. You don't have to chunk down energy drinks and be bloated. Get sick of buying them. 1 container of pre-workout, 1 pre-workout gummy. Just as easy.
Yeah, and for guys like us that are always on the road doing something, these are super convenient. I love this company, and this is all we need now. We don't need any more of that powdered bullshit. So go to tastygains.com. Show them some love.
And I know that's what this organization is about, being against cancel culture and all that kind of stuff. But you never know when something bites you in the ass.
Especially
but I think
sponsorships and all that stuff.
Sponsorships
Play. It's a different world. It really is. I even think about Rand today saying fat bitch and this and that. And it's like, man, if I had to sit in front of like a company and explain why I said that, like I could justify it. But it's like, even my audience though.
You just never, it's hard. You either go full retard or you don't. Yeah. You don't even flirt with that line, because
like Izzo would be full retard.
Yes.
Like Izzo is like unfiltered full retard.
And probably doesn't have a lot of sponsorships.
And here's the other thing too, is that when you set a precedence for yourself, people will try, they'll try it first, and then the perception will be, oh, that's just Tyler. That's just, if you set yourself to a higher standard that you might not live to, people will then bend you over and say, you can't say this. Right. We're going to get you in trouble. We're going to get you this. Like,
that's one thing I like is, like, I had a guy cancel my podcast because he was worried about something he said. And I'm like, who the fuck cares? Like, you don't work anymore. You're not there. Like,
but he's brainwashed.
Yeah, I'm like, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
And therein lies exactly what Tyler's talking about. He's trying to be something he's not by coming on there and trying to vent, trying to air dirty laundry from the department. When he realizes he's not in that position, and he's not being
he's not about that life.
It's not that life.
I had this afterthought that maybe there's some skeletons, and then he realizes if I go, like me, I had to deal with the TikTok that my friend Tyler liked to blast about when I came on. And
There's
then
a lot of
everybody
content
talks
there.
shit about me being investigated by the feds, which is a fucking clown show. The dumbest.
That was true though, right?
I was, but
Yeah.
it was, again, I always.
It's a good story.
I
You're
got
still
into it
sitting here.
when we got to MGM when we got to DC, there was some Facebook page in Vero that was trying to call me out. Oh, why don't you talk about the federal investigation? I'm like, what do you want to know about it? Like, you want to come on and talk about it? Like, I said, and he was very shallow-minded. I said, you know, the old saying is you can indict a ham sandwich. Like, you could have
Right. It's a
you can,
fact.
if you want to be if they want to indict you, they'll find something. I went through all of it, didn't get indicted, didn't even get an IA out of it. But they just, and then it was like, oh, yeah, and then you sell illegal testosterone because of the drug test. I'm like, no, bro, I fucking did steroids. Like, I wasn't selling steroids. But it's the whole thing.
And here's the thing,
I don't
too.
care anymore.
You don't care, and so people lose that traction. Like, you go to a dude like Jimmy and Taylor. I'm not saying they do, but if you were to accuse them to using performance enhancing substances, they're gonna laugh and go, "Duh, motherfucker." If you go to
Jimmy was like,
somebody,
I'm on 11 peptides.
Yeah.
I'm on 11 peptides. I mean, that's just peptides.
if you go to somebody and they are super worried about their image, and you go use steroids, and like, no, I don't. They're like, oh, I got you now. Now I'm gonna expose you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love it. I'm like, go ahead. I'm like, I actually have a picture of me in a blonde wig from TikTok if you really want me to send it to you.
Well, and that's
Like,
the
I'll-
problem. That's the problem with lying and making up stories and shit. You can't. You start. I learned this probably fucking 20 years ago in my life. Stop lying. Stop telling different stories to different people because it's like if you tell 100% of the truth all the time, I mean everything's gonna go back and forth a little bit, 2 or 3%, because your memory or you want to make it sound a little funnier, so you tell the story a little differently. But if you're telling it on 100%, then you can't get caught in a lie because you know what you lived, you told the actual story, and that's it. And you don't have to worry
You're
about
talking
it
about
anymore when
like
somebody
lying,
calls you out.
lying about like accolades and stuff.
You could do that too.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm just talking
Just
about
in
shit in
general.
general. I'm just talking about war stories.
Well, the
or-
feds never investigated me.
Or the
I was
feds
clean as
never
a whistle.
investigated
Yeah, yeah,
me.
yeah.
And then it's
Or
like,
just
well,
like
what's this?
keeping shit bottled up and not being truthful
I
about
respect people the most, especially now that I've gotten into this social media thing and podcast, that have no problem looking at the camera going, I did X, Y, Z.
Yes.
And everybody will say, well,
And
you
that's
were on
what-
TikTok too. I was. And guess what? Just like a drug addict recovering, I say this all the time, who better to tell you like how fucked up something is and how bad, even Jimmy and Taylor talking about their drug use and how fucked up they were. Are you going to listen to some doctor that tells you, well, drugs is bad and this is why you should get off it? Or are you going to look at a guy who goes, yeah, I was in the fucking middle of the jungle hiding from imaginary people.
Right.
And then I got away from it because I'm going to look at him and go, well, how did you do that? And then he's going to tell me versus, well, just don't do the drugs and be positive. And it's like, what the fuck do you know about it? So, yeah, I did steroids. Like, you didn't know, like the whole agency didn't know. Of course, when I went from like some fat fucking guy with no arms to like one of the bigger guys in the agency, and it's like you're watching me go at 39 and 40 start benching 370 pounds. Like, no, I didn't. You know, I just ate my chicken and rice.
Yeah,
and
you took your vitamins.
And then the guys talked about it openly. And then what can you say to me? Barry Bonds and all those guys would absolutely not give a fuck about saying they did steroids if there wasn't the rules of baseball to go with it, like the Hall of Fame and all the shit they went through that they suffered. They all fucking did it.
Yeah.
Of course they did. Like, who cares?
They still do it to this day.
Best time in baseball.
Yeah, and you can't tell me there's not another substance out there, just like when Bonds was on that clear, whatever they called it, that's been altered to beat the test. There's something out there that's AI has created or something.
they're doing it better now.
They're doing it better now, but if you can hold yourself to that level of accountability, there's nothing anybody can ever say to you. And that's why I don't ever get mad. And it's almost to the point now where we've talked about some of the situations that we all go through where responding to it is almost, it's not worth it. Like even Taylor and I were joking about people calling him he must be like 5'6" short man syndrome. No, he's fucking like 6 foot, a monster. But it's like, if he starts bickering back and forth that I'm tall, you've lost already. You have like caved into that. Yeah, bro, I'm 5'6", shortest guy you ever seen. Matter of fact, when you run into me one day, we'll see how tall I am.
And
it's like,
when you leave your primary job, most of our target audience is law enforcement. So that's what we say. We were cops, and you're about to retire as a cop. You have to be very careful of making your brand about you, because if you're if the brand is centered around you, it's easy to lose everything in a like a fucking Tim Kennedy thing, or like a Mike, what was his name? Mike something that got like had a domestic violence charge, had to leave Fieldcraft.
Delta Force guy.
No, he was just regular SF.
Oh, he was just regular
Yeah.
SF guy?
He actually Glover.
Glover, yeah.
Yeah, Mike Glover. You know, and his charges were bullshit. I mean, they weren't what they were perceived
Right,
to be,
yeah.
and he had to step down.
They weren't career-ending type charges. They were.
But when you're the face of a company, so when you center your company around you, you are also now a prime target for anybody with hate in their heart or is very, very, very jealous of you. And, you know, and these people, like you said, you can indict a ham sandwich. You could also accuse a ham sandwich.
Oh, totally.
Of
Especially
getting
with
up and
social
walking
media.
across the room and doing things where it makes it look like that ham sandwich got up and walked across the room. And you're like, but ham sandwiches don't walk. Like, oh, I cropped it that way.
Yeah,
like,
stop motion.
So,
do some stop motion indictments.
But that's where you that's where it's just being able to be transparent and say it and talk about it, and it's for the right reason. You can say I try to say this on my last episode about some of the crude humor, and it'll come out tomorrow with Jack, where I say, yeah, I'm really bad with my meat. Some of them are really fucking up.
they're funny
But
though.
it has led to being able to connect Jerry with Jack, and kind of like a comedian gets on stage, says some really dumb, nasty shit, but then when he gets off stage, he's a good person at the end of the day and helps with charities. I have no idea why I'm choking.
Yeah, it kind of and cough right into the microphone.
Is that what it
Is
did?
really what the is really.
We really want the listener
The
experience.
most professional thing.
What happened?
The most professional thing to do. I think it was,
This is why you got to
a moth.
watch our podcast, not listen to it.
Yeah, a moth flew into his mouth. But yeah, like what you're saying is almost like a persona, like a wrestling persona. Do we want to talk wrestling in this one, or do we want to save that for a
push
future
it on.
one?
Well, yeah. I mean, again, like we're trying to keep it business oriented, leaving your job for your goals and your aspirations and the companies that you built. I remember I was at OTOA and I was talking to this t-shirt company, and they're really they're not, I shouldn't say really prominent, but they're pretty good. Like they've been around for a while. They've 7 years, I think, and they're at a level, and they're like, oh yeah, and he said my wife would kill me if I left the job for this. I still have like 15 more years to go, and I was like, you're shooting yourself in the foot right there. That mindset, like I'm never going to fully commit to this dream, and that dream has no way of turning into a reality if you're hesitant. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. It's not going to happen overnight. And it's not going to happen unless you give yourself to 100%. And like you said, Mike, eventually the job or a job is going to get in the way. It's going to start, you're going to be taking effort from the job that is your salary job into there. And even if you're doing 80% and you're doing 20, they're going to start noticing that 20%. Mm-hmm. That the stupid tasks are, you're like, I don't give a fuck about this goddamn fucking paper. Sorry, God, I said GD. This stupid ass fucking paperwork that no one even needs to submit when I got this going on in my fucking private life and all these business ventures, and they don't care about that. They really do not care about that. Yeah. And in fact, I've said it before in this podcast, but I had a lieutenant who ended up being a fucking piece of shit later on, I found out. But in that episode, I gave him props, and he said, he looked at me and goes, how's your business doing? I go, it's okay. He goes, how much money you make? And I was like, this is wildly out of line. Like wildly. I was like, do I need a union person here? And he was like, no, I was curious because, I can tell that you don't really care about this job anymore. And like the stupid little fucking dumb bullshit that you got to do now isn't priority for you. And he's talking to me, he's like, you are now realizing how stupid this shit is because that's more priority. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so that's why I was curious, would you ever leave?
I take that to the next level of like, what I'm dealing with, like learning about like work, even workers' comp and injuries. Like I would work injured. I remember days I couldn't tie my damn shoes. I had to have my wife help me tie my shoes because my back was so jacked. It's like I'm not calling out sick and I'm not going to report an injury because I don't want to be labeled a certain way. And
we get so wrapped
up, and then it goes to the other extreme where now guys are like, "Oh, my toe hurts," and they're on like duty for 6 months, and it's like, but I guess that's in the military too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the military, we didn't want to be go to sick call.
There's no such thing.
You would never go to sick call.
You better be dead.
Because you're letting your boys down. You're letting the tribe down. I have to, unless you're like the doctor literally put me in a cast, guys. It's again, like that's the only, and then you still. After 2 days in a cast, they start going, motherfucker, it must be nice being in a cast. You're like, dude, what the fuck?
I remember I got poison ivy in the field, and I get it really bad, and I had it bad. and I'm like a day in, and these guys are like, hey man, you should go tell the med. I'm like, nah, I'm fucking dying, dude. So like finally, like day 2, I looked like I sat in a car seat and melted. Like it was all the lines everywhere.
Pop these
It was
blisters.
so bad. And finally, like, just go, dude. So I'm like, I walked up. I'm like, hey man. He's like, what the fuck? They like stopped operating. It was Op 4. So they called White Cross. They take me.
Oh yeah,
I had to be,
real
I had
time.
to be admitted to the hospital. It was so bad. I had to get like injections, and I'm in the hospital going. We got assault tomorrow at like 9. I got to be back out in the woods. They're like, bro, you're not fucking going back in the woods. Like your mentality was, I can't miss. What am I going to tell the first sergeant? Like I can't miss this.
And if you take that same mentality and you put it towards something that you are very passionate about and have a desire for, you get the same results, except you don't get fucked over by giving all that to an industry or a corporation or a government entity that doesn't care about
You know what sucks though is there's a group of guys that are like me. And like you guys, I don't know how you guys police. I say like me because I know what I did. I don't know, but they just want to. They really do just want to be caught. No, they just want to
dig.
They just want to put bad guys in jail, and they don't even want a private venture. But the job has become so toxic that unfortunately those guys have to now go, like we talked about in the one episode with the SWAT Boys for TikTok, where they have like their merchandise stuff. It's like almost like they're forcing guys into this conversation we're having right now. Like, hey, I want to be a cop. I want to. For 25, 30 years, all I want to do is smash bad guys and put them in jail. And at some point you go, I can't fucking do this anymore.
Dude, since I was a fucking kid, my dad was a retired cop. All I wanted to do, dressed up as a cop, play cops and robbers. All I wanted to be was a cop. Did it right out of the military. I went to college and then did the cop stuff for 10 years, almost 10 years, 9 years. And after about 5 years in, I was like, this is not what I saw. It's not about putting bad guys in jail.
And you came in later. So when I started, I'm sure you feel, it was It was about putting bad guys in jail. And you came in late, so you didn't get to see that era. Like the end of the Jerry era, like that cops era. Everybody loved the cops. Everybody use of force was like, yeah, whatever, fucking beat the guy up. Like it was like it probably a little too much.
I assisted him to the ground.
Yeah, but then it took this wild shift, and that's a lot of times I tell these guys like, well, how do I find a good agency? I'm like, watch their fucking recruiting videos. If they're dancing or their chief has a fucking foam cowboy hat on, or they're do not go there. Like, do not go there. Go to like a Sandy Springs where the chief's standing on the side of a fucking car, or even if you watch videos like Arkansas State Patrol is fucking insane. Like I watched a pit video the other day, hit a guy going like 135. Like you watch that video and go, they're allowed to do that. That's where I would probably start looking. You see these recruiting videos we always talk about, and you see dancing and fuckery. You probably don't want to go there because that's probably what the agency's going to be like when you get there.
Yeah.
So, and then you're going to get 3 or 4 years in and go, and then the police world is the only place as well where you try to advance by going to another agency, and it's frowned upon, and you're called like you're a bouncer, or you go around, you move too much.
Yeah, you're a grass.
It's like, well, this place sucks. Like, why would I not leave? But in the police world, it's not encouraged to go to another agency. It's
like I've talked to new guys that have that are still on probation, and like one was like he's looking to go towards like an FWC, and I go, look, man. And he's already got family in the agency, so he knows Florida Fish and Wildlife. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, I go, that's total
Trout
different
troopers.
Police work. Well, it's different police work than what we do in my agency.
Yeah.
So if you're leaving to go do that, more power to you. Go for it, dude. Like if that's your
But you know what you're asking for. Like if you're
and you know what you're getting into. You already know what you're getting into, but you want that type of police work. But if you're just leaving to go to almost a mirror agency just because
I'm mad.
Because like I got passed up on a detective exam and I didn't get into that role, or I came out 6th on the sergeants, and you're just not good
Here's
enough
the other
or
thing,
whatever.
money. These motherfuckers, and my agency's going through it with this fucking budget. They scream and cry money. You're not going to transfer to an agency that makes enough money to be
to make a difference.
Yes. Yeah. I don't care if your salary is 70, and you know what happens? You go from an agency that's paying you 70 to an agency paid 90. You know what you can do? They go out and buy a fucking truck. And then they're right back to the same monthly income with the same no money in the bank.
Some truck that they don't really need.
Exactly. So it's like if there's no groundbreaking amount of money. Now, obviously going to an agency that starts high is a good start if you're going to marry yourself to an agency. But if you go from one agency that's you're making 70 to go to another agency making 75, dude, like that ain't it either, man.
I just saw West Palm Beach, like it was like 85,000 or something like that starting.
$1 billion budget, dude. They broke $1 billion.
Well, and
they're asking for $1 billion.
Crazy.
People leave. Like I was one of those people. I was like, how do I always get stuck with the fucking worst supervision. I thought it was like a calling from God, like you need to get out of this job. I was like, what the fuck is it? Like at my last agency I was at for 5 or 6 years, 6 years, I only had one male sergeant and he was mentally ill. And so like I had all female sergeants, like every sergeant I had was a female. And I don't really get along with most female sergeants because they most of the time don't know what they're doing. I'm sorry, but they don't know how to manage men. And I don't think that's a dig on females. That's just my opinion. And
female cops.
But then I realized somebody told me, what's the common denominator and everything? I go, me. And they're like, and I was like, you know what?
No,
You're
I'm
right.
going to another agency. Fuck it.
Fuck
I'm
you.
quitting.
I'll find someone that
quitting.
can manage me.
No, and so I was like, okay, well then that's a me problem, and then now I realize like I have a fucking problem taking
being a cop.
orders
Yeah, with being a cop.
from fucking retards.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
government work, and it's not like any agency's any better really in this. Like it's government work. You got to do stupid shit so they can check boxes and have CYA. Like I got out. Like I know there's an agency. I think it's Tampa around here that has the rumor has it when they get out with anybody, just subject stop, talk, consensual. Like they have to fill out a card about this person when they're done with them to prove they don't only stop black people. Like, and it makes sense though, right? You're like, I can see where an agency would like, hey, fill this out. It doesn't take much. Like we want to be able to prove to people that we stop out with X amount of white people too. And so dumb shit like that.
We had to do stats for a lot of years we had to do stats, and like 2 of them, like every week or something like that, you had to do 2 FI cards. So that's like what you're saying, a field interrogation,
But you're doing it because you're putting a person in a place.
Correct.
For the right reason.
But to my point, to somewhat like that, like where you're going to just go stop a white guy just to say, look, I promise I stop white guys. We had a guy who stopped to block traffic for a guy that was changing his tire in the road, and he did an FI card on him. And so when that FI card came in, the sergeant was like, get in here. What the fuck are you doing? An FI card
Stop
on
the
a
white
guy
guy.
changing a tire. He's like, I need the stat. So, like for that agency,
Yeah.
it's trying to like, I stopped.
that's-
I went out with 4
that's
black
pander-
guys.
that's
So I need to
pandering.
do at least three white guys.
That takes this right here. Fuck you. That's what the administration has to say.
No,
we
that's
stop
bullshit.
criminals and we stop everybody.
Yeah.
One guy, and I saw a reel today where a guy was talking about how he worked in a predominantly black neighborhood, and they constantly called him racist because 98% of his stops were black people. He's like, "What do you want me to
Work
do?"
in the hood.
Jerry said that
Because
too.
I did
Jerry
the
told
opposite. I'll be honest with you. I was waiting to get accused of reverse racism because I worked on an all-black neighborhood, and I stopped like 98% white people because all I did was look for the.
All I
dudes
did
buying
was
crack.
say, you see this face?
Yeah.
I'm the only white
Yeah.
face.
I used to hammer it. I'm like, at some point, they're going to be like, hey, man, you got to stop a black person once in a while because it was so easy. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. The crackheads coming to buy crack.
Yeah.
It's simple.
The construction van, like at 8 p.m.
yeah.
Like,
What are you doing? Oh, my friend lives up here. Yeah. What's
No,
your
he
friend's
doesn't.
name? I don't know. You're like, I used to have them. I get 3 questions and they'd be like, just stop asking me questions. Like they would literally say, just stop asking me questions because they couldn't keep up the
I don't
lies.
have any more lies.
I'm done. I'm just here. I'm like, yeah, man, this is a great place to hang out, dude. Like,
I'm looking for real estate.
because
I'll catch you on the way out, bro.
yeah, that means you haven't bought it yet. So I'm like, got any money on you? I got like $40. I'm like, perfect. Verbal warning. See you, man. Just wait around the corner because that means he hasn't bought it yet.
We are Counterculture 8. How's everybody doing tonight? Wild, huh? Wild.